Hello everybody, this is Fernando for the latest Cryptids and Monsters of the Week video. Here is yet another brand new random page entry from the cryptids.wikia.com website. As always, just landing on whatever page it presents and then talking about it here. In this case, it has to do with yet another super bizarre creature that is somehow found out there within this world. People have come across it, and who knows, those of you in Japan may actually see this creature still out there. It just makes you realize that there's so many wonderful, amazing creatures out there in this world that have yet to be discovered or will be discovered soon, each one pretty much topping the other within its originality. When I give you all the information here in a minute, in fact, you'll realize just how unique this creature is. But it's a creature that's located in Japan, a very mythical creature there. It goes by several names, but it's probably its most well-known moniker is Basan. So let's go ahead and let's talk about all the fascinating information associated with this very, very unique creature. So what is this Basan? Well, you're looking at a representation of it now. And again, it goes by several different names. Could be Basan. It could be also Basa. More on that here in a minute. And then another name associated with it is Inuhu. And I believe I saw there was actually yet one more other name that it's known as, more of a different term associated with it. I'll see if I can find it here in a minute. Well, actually, it's more of a nickname. It's known as the fire rooster, so I don't even think you could call it a name in and of itself, but that again represents another version of it. So where you find this particular Basan is again there in Japan. The fact that it's considered mythical tells you an idea of how long it's been out there when it comes to ages. Who knows? It's probably been hundreds of years that people have seen this creature there, and very, very unique creature in a sense. You'll never forget it. No doubt whenever the people saw it, they immediately started telling others about it because of its amazing traits. So here's the actual physical traits associated with the creature. Now, in of itself, it's not actually very large. It's been measured around the size of a chicken, maybe even up to the size of a turkey. So you can give you an idea again that this is not going to be, something that's larger than a doorway or maybe a car or anything like that. No, this is just going to be our average bird size, almost at the size of a supersized rooster of sorts. And again, if you go there in Japan, that's where you'll find it, specifically at an area that's a little bit gone today, but it's otherwise a mountainy area that's known as, it's a city, but it has some surrounding mountains. I hope I'm saying that correctly. Ehime Prefecture. Again, someone might have to correct me on that, but Ehime Prefecture is where you'll find this creature. So those of you that happen to be around that location, you might actually have a good chance of running around and finding this creature, but it's going to be pretty rare in of itself because of this. Apparently, sight seen makes this creature disappear. So I'm going to repeat that again. If you're looking right at it, this creature will absolutely recognize that you're looking at it and then just disappear out of the blue. I don't know if it turns invisible, there's always that trait, or if it just outright disappears, maybe teleports someplace else and is no longer there within your location. Either way, though, that seems to be what people state. As soon as they hear this creature and then they turn around and they see it, then it suddenly vanishes right after. And then more on the hearing side, remember I was mentioning earlier about the name Basa. Well, that's almost like an onomatopoeia type name, because the way this creature's wings, if you could call it that, whenever they start flapping or rustling, it creates a very unique sound that when people hear it, it sounds like basa. Like that's how the creature sounds, basa. That is how the actual sound comes out of the wings. And so that's how they nickname this creature right after the sound in of itself. And otherwise, this creature is, who knows, using these wings to fly, but considering that it's more along the lines of tied to a rooster, it's probably using it mainly just for defense or some other type of I don't know if you call it a display to try to create interest within other mates, that kind of stuff. But that is at least the other unique trait associated with this creature, this thing, if you call it a chicken. definitely makes those sounds. That's how humans know that you're within the vicinity of a basin, because as you happen to be around those foresty type areas there, again located in Ehime Prefecture, that's where essentially you'll start hearing that weird rustling, and then that's when you start turning around, and if you're very lucky, you may get to see this basin right there standing in front of you, at least momentarily, and then it's gone right afterward. But yet another unique trait, again, just makes it almost just wholly original, is this. It can actually breathe fire. Who knew that roosters and other type of chicken type turkeys can do something like that? No, but this is the creature that can. Apparently something within its body can coil up enough energy, and then when it does so, out comes the fireball, and then that's where you're looking at some of the depictions here. But interestingly enough, this fire is not actually hot. It's actually cool to the touch. In other words, it doesn't burn anybody if it happens to catch, let's say, your area, or happens to actually strike you altogether. It's actually considered a cold fire, and it glows, but it definitely does not create any burns. Isn't that neat? It almost like it has its own unique chemistry within it that still causes it to be a fire, but it's not going to burn anything around you or yourself if it makes contact. So definitely, at least I could imagine this creature using it as a form of a defense, again making sure that its territory is defended either from humans, no matter how much it tries to keep itself rare from contact surrounding, let's say, the villagers or anyone else surrounding that area. Inevitably there's going to be some contact made, and so that's where these fireballs can come out. But at least you'll know that, hey, everything is going to be a-okay, because you're not going to have anything happen to you in terms of any kind of first degree, second degree burns type stuff. I could also again imagine it just like with the wings, that this is a creature that's going to utilize the fireballs as another form of display, something along the lines of finding a mate, or maybe just fighting others to create some kind of leadership within its little clan, whatever that is, of these basins, and then making sure that one of them becomes the undisputed leader. But interesting stuff. No, when it comes to this, I promised you that this was going to be a pretty original creature, and that's what the case is here. Another interesting thing about it is, if you want to try to attract these creatures to you, maybe you want to see one from afar. As long as you don't see it, it's presumably going to stay visible, no? Well, the easiest way to do so is this. If you take any charred wood or embers, maybe you're making yourself a fire to stay warm, or maybe you're cooking something. If you leave it out there within that vicinity of that location I was mentioning earlier, then there's a good chance that these basin will come along. And the reason for it is because that's what they eat. They make up part of their diet, eating these charred woods and embers, either from nature, maybe, lightning hitting the forest and then creating fires, and then they'll just have a buffet right there to eat from, or again from villagers making their own fires for those purposes I mentioned earlier. And then that's where you could have these things wander pretty much out there in the middle of the night to feast on this type of stuff. Apparently, they especially love charcoal. So if you have charcoal that's out there, then you have a pretty good chance of having these creatures again make some kind of contact. How fascinating would that be? Just set up a night vision camera, right? And then set up some charcoal, let that charcoal glow. It'll be there for hours, because we all know charcoal stays lit for a good time period. And then when that happens, then boom, there you go. The basin are coming into that location, and then you'll be able to see them captured live. Why hasn't anyone tried that? That would be such a good way of having this stuff just caught finally on YouTube, and then having so much notoriety from it. But that's pretty much it. That's all the information really I could find associated with this creature. One other thing I could mention here too, and that probably explains again why this creature is so rare to be able to be found. It's actually nocturnal. So despite the fact that it has a bright plumage, it has these bright colors, including that top crest that you could call a reddish comb, and then some of the other bluish lights associated with it, as you've seen some iterations here. Interestingly enough, it just pretty much roams at night. I say that because you would think that with these very bright displays, including the fireballs, and then also the colors of its feathers and so on. You would think that this thing would actually be during the daytime, but no, it actually roams around at night, and that's when it usually is found. Maybe again, it's to do so to stay away from humanity and make sure that there's nothing else found as far as people running into it here and there. But that's all the only other thing that stands out associated with this basin. But if anybody has any more info, anything else I might have missed, just please let me know. As always, how about those of you there in Japan, anyone from that vicinity there in the Ehime prefecture? If you are there and you've maybe heard some more legends associated with this very, very unique creature, or who knows, maybe you had a home run and actually seen one, then please post those comments below. I'd always love to hear that particular set of stories. So, all right, everybody. Thanks again as always. Take care.